Hello everyone, bringing you a video today which is the first in the Beyond the Basics part of a series looking at British kit, a British issue kit from the Far East Theatre 1944-1945. And what we're looking at in this video, as mentioned in the last of the Basics series, is machetes. We're going to look at a British pattern machete and an Indian Dar pattern machete, which are the two most common that turn up in photographs at the time. And the British is probably the easier to find of the two, but I've nevertheless thought it would be interesting looking at both of these to give you an idea of an additional bit of kit you might want to purchase if you're looking to recreate this kit once you've got the basics together. They aren't essential, but they're a nice addition to a collection and they're a useful element for reenacting as well. So we'll get into the main part of the video now and have a look at these two patterns of machete. So these are the two patterns of machete we're going to have a look at. These are the two most common patterns to see in use in the Far East in the time period we're looking at. In the foreground here we have a British manufactured machete, and behind that we have an Indian Dar pattern machete. These are the more common ones to find, I would say. Probably the easiest, although you don't need a machete on your kit really. They were far more commonly issued in the Far East than in other theatres. In the Northwest Europe, for example, they were basically section issue, whereas in the Far East, of course, you'd see far more men issued with these for use. Obviously they're of far more use, greater utility when fighting through the jungle. Having more of them on hand is of course desirable. So they are a more common bit of kit to see in the Far East and a nice thing to add to your kit if you can find one, but they're not essential for the basic kit, which is why they're kind of in the Beyond the Basics videos I'm making as part of this little series. Talking about the British one first, as I say, these are the most common to find and they are useful if you're recreating kit from other theatres as well in certain instances. You have a very heavy duty leather sheath, as you can see here, and bunched together and stitched at the bottom there, formed to make the point of the sheath there, as you can see, and then we have a seam running up the back there. Riveted belt loop, and you can see the manufacturer's mark for the sheath here, BLG in 1945 there, the date of manufacture, and you can see the rivets there used to attach the belt loop, and you also have a thicker toughened section of leather around the throat of the sheath there, obviously to protect this where you're going to get most wear with the blade coming in and out, and again that's riveted in place, as you can see. Have a very simple retention strap there with a little Sam Brown style stud, as you can see there. And this pattern of machete basically, with some minor modifications to the design, some minor variations, dates back to the Great War and beyond, so it's a very long-lived design. You've got a fibre or resin handle there, as you can see, and that again is riveted in place, as you can see there. Hole for a lanyard, there's no lanyard fitted to this one, a wrist lanyard. And then we can see the date and the manufacturer's mark here, JJB and 1945, and the broad arrow there. And you can see that the typical shape of the blade there for British machetes. These were also manufactured in Canada as well, to basically the same pattern. And obviously nice thick section at the end here to give you plenty of swing, plenty of weight behind the swing. So that's the British issue machete, which was around at the time, and I say this is quite a late manufactured example, being 1945. But a nice thing to add to the belt kit if you can find one at a decent price. So that's the British issue example, or the British made example rather. This is an Indian made example, very different pattern, and it's a Dar pattern machete because of the shape of the blade basically. You can see the shape of the sheath mirrors the shape of the blade. It's a very different shape. You see the stamp on the back here, the manufacturer's stamp, and you've got the date there again of 1945, and again a very simple leather belt loop riveted and stitched in place at the back there, and that also is riveted to that is the strap, the retention strap here, which again uses a Sam Brown type stud. If I remember correctly, I think this is a repair. I think my friend Alan, before I bought this off him, had repaired this and replaced this strap. This has quite an interesting design of sheath. It's completely open backed here, apart from a couple of inches at the end, to allow for the fact that the blade is this rather odd shape with a very wide flare at the end here, but it's basically no point or anything to it. Obviously you've got all the weight in the end here to give it some swing, and it necks right down to just over an inch at the end here. See the date on here of 45, so that's what you're looking for if you're looking for a Dar pattern machete, is something like this. Terrible design really in regards to the handle, because you've got these deep troughs top and bottom, which when you're using it, that's going to certainly not going to be pleasant for the hand when you're using it for any length of time. the design of the handle on the British machete is better from that point of view. This is more shaped to the hand, but has these deep troughs, top and bottom. Again, it is riveted in place, as you can see. So that's the Dar pattern machete, and quite an interesting design. As I say, very simple design, literally a piece of steel flared out to one end and then with an edge added to it. So very, very simple. It does necessitate this interesting design of sheath. Pop that away there, fit that in the end. Just close up the retention strap there. So those are the two basic patterns of machete, which are the most common to see at the time. They both turn up in photographs quite regularly. As I say, the British example is probably the easiest to find if you are looking to pick one of these up for reenacting. If you put something of an edge on them, they're actually quite useful for reenacting. We've used these when we've been cutting bits of firewood up and so forth, when we've been reenacting at Victory Show and so forth. They're quite useful from that point of view. Certainly the British ones, I'm happier using those, I guess. The Dar is quite blunt and I don't intend to put an edge on it. But as I say, two options there. If you can find them at a decent price, they're a very nice thing to add to your Far East kit for reenacting purposes, and interesting collectibles as well, of course. So there we are, that's a quick look at these two patterns of machete. So again, I hope that was both interesting and useful. As I say, these two patterns of machete do turn up frequently in photographs of troops serving in the Far East at the time, and of course they were issued in the Far East far more extensively than they were in other theatres. So they are a useful addition to the kit, although, as already mentioned several times, not essential. So that's why they're in the Beyond the Basics part of this series. Hopefully the series as a whole has been interesting, and hopefully this video has been interesting itself. If it has been interesting and you'd like to see more of this sort of thing, please do consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. And whether you're newly subscribing or you've previously subscribed, please do make sure you hit the little bell, the notification button down below. That will of course alert you when I upload future videos. If you really like my uploads and would like to support the channel, you can. Both Patreon and PayPal are linked down below. And as ever, a massive thank you to everybody who supports the channel using those two methods. It's greatly appreciated, as I always say. Thank you all very much indeed. If you'd like to follow the channel on social media, you can. Facebook, Instagram and Twitter are all linked down below. And if you'd like to get in touch but you don't really use social media, there is of course an email address there as well. That's everything for this video. So until next time, bye for now.